Now we are going to lighten the stage with some action. We will bring East versus West, and the adrenaline kick from the debate that you will get will be something to remember. Nowadays, coaching is elevated in our workplace, in leadership, and in development. This debate will explore meeting points between Eastern culture, identity, and Western coaching methodology, guided by voices who have lived and shaped both worlds. Leading this exciting debate is a respected founder of a leadership consultancy company and an internationally certified leadership coach and trainer who consistently brings clarity, organization, and calm structure into every discussion he moderates. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome our moderator for this session, the Assistant Manager of Learning and Development at Bobian Bank, Mr. Abdullah Murad. Joining him, our distinguished debate speakers, the Vice President of the International Coaching Federation, ICF, Kuwait Chapter, Ms. Ghada Ahmed. Joining her, the CEO and Chief Wellness Officer of E2C and Vital Signs, Vital Skills, Dr. Zaina Ghsoub.
All right, good afternoon. I think it's officially afternoon. Hello, everyone. So my name is Abdullah Murad, and I want to thank you for taking the time because I know this is the afternoon phase of the show, and usually energies are mixed. But I think I'm loving the energy in the back, and I'm seeing a lot of people socializing and networking, so that's beautiful. Today we're here to really talk about a topic that's really near and dear to all of our hearts on stage. And if anyone is a coach, then you can resonate with what I'm about to say. In fact, today's topic is about understanding the importance of coaching, what it brings to organizations, how it impacts communities, how it impacts the country, how it impacts a lot of things. And specifically, we want to talk about how coaching in the West and in the East can really come together and impact the world. And today I'm very blessed and honored to be with actually some of my colleagues and acquaintances, newly acquaintances with Dr. Zaina and Ghada as well. And I want to start off by first asking the audience a few questions. Out of curiosity, how many would identify as being a certified or let's say a professional coach? Can you raise your hands? How many coaches are in the house? So we got a few. How many people are interested to know more about coaching? Okay, so this is interesting. So for those who are interested and for those who are coaches, you might want to pay attention because we're about to share some really deep insights from people who are in the field. So I'm going to start with a very typical way of beginning this. First of all, for those of you who have not heard of coaching or not are fully aware of what coaching is, let's start with the basics. And I'm going to start with Dr. Zaina. Dr. Zaina, if you were to clarify what coaching is, how would you define it?
So, I would like to, first of all, say that I have been a coach for a very long time, for more than 20 years. And across that path, coaching has shifted in definitions with ICF specifically and across the years. So Thomas Leonard, that we call the father of coaching, then to the ICF, and where we are here now in coaching is coaching is a process that is thought-provoking. It helps the client in front of you to think outside of the box, to where as coaches we are mirroring that client of ours in a process that ends with a goal for every session, and if we have an overarching goal to reach that goal. So it is thought-provoking, it includes active listening, it is, you are going in there with a very safe space with your coachee, and where as a coach you really need to be free of total judgment. So that process by itself creates a lot of shift in the brain. As a human behaviorist, and where I studied a lot of neuroscience, this creates a very safe space where the brain will be activated in a different way and not hijacked. So this is what coaching is. So coaching is thought-provoking, challenging, with a safe space, with active listening and a goal.
Thank you very much for this beautiful explanation. And absolutely, I would definitely concur with what you just said. In fact, to validate that even further, you know, I once read an article where they were speaking to people who were studying neuroscience, and they said that, you know, when they discovered what coaching is and what it does, it complements the neuroscience field so well because of all the things that are happening in the human mind during a coaching session. So thank you very much for that.
Let me tell you one more thing here.
Go ahead.
Is that when you are coaching, there's an actual rewiring that is happening at the level of the neurons. So coaching is the tool for rewiring. This is what they have discovered. So this is why it works. This is why people change.
Absolutely, absolutely. You also said coaches do not judge, and yet coaches are probably the most judged people in the profession. And in fact, I want to ask this next question to Ghada. Ghada, as you are very aware, especially being a vice president in the ICF chapter of Kuwait and throughout your career, you know, as coaches, we get a lot of stigma. We get a lot of bad rep, in other words. So I want to ask you, you know, what stigmas are associated with coaching in our culture, in the GCC?
Very interesting questions, and this is very important. Lots of people think it's a therapy, which is not. Many people think that I don't need coaching, I don't have any problem, it's a personal weakness, which is not. Some people, even in organization, it's like a checkbox for HR, so it's not that important. Many people are even mixing coaching, mentoring, supervision, lots of things. There is lots of mix, especially in our, let's talk about GCC, for example, okay, or in the Arab culture in general. Here we are saying that coaching, why should I do, I'm perfect. I remember one of my coaches, she said, no, I'm perfect, I don't have any problem, why you want me to do, it's a therapy? No, I don't need that. So there is lots of things related to hierarchy, even culture aspects, our norms in general, that we don't need that. I remember one leader told me, this can happen in US. I don't think this can happen in our GCC, this long time ago. So I think all these things that we need to pay attention is also the cross-culture aspects. I've seen this when I dealt with many people. Even sometimes people or coaches, they come and complain to us. We are trying, but nobody's listening. The level of awareness is still not that high in the GCC. But I will focus today, as I said, in the GCC, and we will share some best practice.
Thank you so much. I actually thank you for clarifying it, the stigma in the GCC region. I actually want to ask the same question to Dr. Zeina, since a lot of her experience is actually in the Western side, where it's the US market or the European market. So same question to you, Dr. Zeina. What is the stigma in the West about coaches?
So, as you said, I've done a lot of coaching all over the world, in the GCC area, Middle East, and abroad. What differs in that aspect is the following. As Ghada said, the awareness at the level of the GCC area is not high. The awareness in the West or North America and Europe is very high. We know what coaching is not. Especially we're talking Fortune 500 companies, we're talking organizations. The problem then lies with why they don't hire coaches is because of the malpractice. In the US now, there is malpractice insurance for coaching. So anyone that is not a professional coach and is coaching can be sent to court, and there are legal actions. So as American companies, we have to buy insurance. So that is a big issue now, and the stigma is who is a coach and who is not, who is a professional coach and who is not a professional coach. And that lies not only in the level of certification you take, a level 1 or a level 2, or the 100 hours per ICF or the 500 hours. It lies beyond that. It lies with your expertise and the know-how. So that is the biggest thing. The other biggest thing is the money. Really, it's the finances. People are not investing anymore in a lot of coaching because why? Because it is time consuming. We are in an era where it is fast, where people need things very quick, with the Gen Zers and the millennials specifically, and now the Gen Alphas. So what is happening is, and ICF is doing a lot of work on that, is looking at the gaps of how do we coach these upcoming generations. So these are the things that we are looking at more in our studies. Like, how are we going to do that?
Amazing. And you talked about how companies are now, like at least in the West, in the US and the European market, they're taking insurance. So companies are now becoming, I mean, obviously they're very more aware in the West side versus the East side, which is in the GCC area. But taking it seriously is important. And this also now, I want to bring it back to our HR professionals who might be listening and are maybe considering about implementing coaching. So let's talk about implementing coaching in organizations. And this next question, of course, I'm going to start with Ghada, but I'm definitely going to come back to you again, Dr. Zeina, is in layman's terms, in very simple ways of saying this, how can we implement coaching in our organization?
Thank you. First of all, why we need coaching. This is the first thing we need to start with, the why. Okay? Then we can start also with survey. How ready we are, readiness survey. Are we ready as a company, our organizations, to do coaching or not? And what are the challenges that we have? This is the first thing. So survey. Also, culture audit. We need to understand our organization culture. Sometimes in multinational or multicultural organization, it's gonna be maybe difficult. Leaders might have joy and challenges at the same time. So maybe when we do a culture audit, this will give us an indication, where are we? Do we have high contest? Do we have masculinity? Do we have high power? There is lots of things, the communication itself. And when we are talking about culture, the culture is not in your policy only. It's in everyday conversation. So this is very important. And when we are talking about culture and implementing coaching, we need to know, where are we? Do we have, what kind of communications do we have? Do we have quality communications? What type of communications? I remember Goldsmith, he said, the quality communication, it's the glue of holding the organization together. And to do that, we need a feed-forward approach. And how to do a feed-forward approach? This is critical because we, as Arab, let's be honest, we don't like feedback. We don't want anyone to criticize us. But if we start building feed-forward, like we can talk, we accept, are we open to that? This will help us a lot. So back to the same point, opening, readiness. So we'll start with a survey. What are the challenges? What are the common challenges? We can distribute it to the top management. This will give us the first indication. To implement it, we need a collaborative approach between L&D, HR, coaches. We as coaches, we cannot do it. So we have to have kind of collaborative approach. Then we start preparing what do we need to do in order to get the buy-in. It's not about only one training, because many people think that, okay, I will offer this course for our leaders, one cohort. What's next? How you can manage the impact? This is crucial. So number one, you have to do the survey. Check or do a culture audit. Number three, you need to think about the framework. We are building, when we are talking about coaching, we need to think about building, let's say, sustainable coaching ecosystem. Not about just having one program and that's it. The impact. This is also very important. Now, to cover all the how to build that, it's crucial because we need hours. But the most important things is in order to get the buy-in, we need three things to achieve it. Champion, we need someone who believes on this from the top management to be on this approach with us. Collaborative approach, as I said at the beginning, this is number one. Number two, to build awareness in the organizations, because we want to let everyone feel that it's not only for a specific category, or let's say to the top leaders, or maybe the onboarding. No, it can be for all, but it depends of the budget. It depends of many constraints. Let's be honest, how big it is, the organization. Also, this is very important. And in order to build this framework and it works, as I said, we need champion. We need to build awareness and consistency. We need a coaching mindset.
Amazing, thank you. That's very holistic, and I love how you simplified it down to just like core principles that people can follow. Dr. Zain, I want to ask you the same question. So if it is, if an organization wants to start implementing coaching, how would they go about doing that?
You mean in the West?
Definitely, in the US and in European markets.
It's the same structure. So Ghada, to build on what Ghada said, everything Ghada said, but I think the level of awareness at the level of organizations, depending on the sector we are working in though. So I think in Europe and in the United States or North Americas, if you are in the healthcare sector, because I do work in the healthcare sector, there is no awareness in coaching, for example. So we have to build from scratch, like what Ghada said. There should be a buy-in, and there should be champions that believe in the experiences of coaching and the research and what it does say. So it's very important. All organizations in the West look at more research-based. And what are the outcomes? So what is going to be the outcome of that? So there are some industries that still don't believe in the power of coaching, but there are many industries that do. So the built-in is faster, however. When you want to build a coaching organization that within an organization that knows what coaching is, it's easier because you don't know the buy-in. So these are the steps. The steps are the same. The industry, if it doesn't know anything about coaching, we go back to where we are in the GCC area, where we really need the buy-in and what does it really do, and really the ROI on, if you look at the literature and the ROI, if you have a coaching culture in an organization, if you don't have, if we look at HBR and if we look at ICF Global Study most recently, it's more than 600%. So that's huge. So if you have these buy-ins, you're okay.
You mentioned, for organizations that are aware. So let's talk about organizations that truly are aware and are actually implementing coaching. I want to know from you guys, from both sides actually, some of the challenges that if you want to implement a coaching culture in an organization, for those of you who are implementing coaching in your organizations, whether it's in the first stage, second stage, or whichever stage, Ghada, what are some of the biggest challenges to implementing coaching in an organization in the GCC?
Okay, very interesting questions. Now, I want to answer these questions based on best practice. I will start talking about OQ. OQ is an oil company in Oman, and they won the most prestigious Prism Award from ICF. I think 4 years ago, 2023, okay? So what was the challenge? They wanted to build confidence in their leaders. So they start with external coaches to build capability. So it's not only training. They start choosing the best internal coaches. And there, of course, there is lots of assessment we have to do in order to choose the best coaches in our organization. And why to build capability? Because it will save cost. For example, they managed to save 500,000 by building their own capability. So when you build internal pool of coaches, this is crucial because we cannot depend on only external. Not only that, when you build your internal pool of coaches, they understand the culture, our values, and this is also very important. But it takes time. How to manage that, the consistency of all the cohorts? Okay, this is number one. Building infrastructures, MIS, in order to manage to control all this data and put it in one system. Confidentiality, this is very crucial because the first thing as a coachee, let's say, I want to ask you as a coach, how about my reports, the data in general, how it's going to be safe? I'm sure you will share this with HR. So the first thing, building trust. Confidentiality. This is very important. If we cannot do that, this will not allow coaches to be engaged. So the first thing, as L&D, HR, coaches, we need to build a system of confidentiality so people can trust us. Otherwise, it will be very difficult and we are wasting money. And again, one of the challenges, we need to build capability. After the capability, also coachability. We need to choose the people who are interested in coaching. We don't want to waste money and time on people they are not engaged in the coaching process. Did I answer my question?
Yeah, definitely. In fact, I'm feeling the pain because when you're speaking it, I see it. So it is a real pain in this region of the world. Dr. Zeina, looking at it from a different side of the world, from the US market perspective or the European market, or basically any area that is considered in the West, where are you seeing the challenges that organizations are facing when implementing coaching?
I go back to coachability. When we say you need to be coached or you are to be coached, we always have to mention the terminology, a human being that is not mentally challenged. We do not deal with situations where we have mental health illness. That is a big issue. And I think there is a fine line between therapy and coaching. So being able to coach, you have to make sure that the individual you are working with doesn't have any mental health conditions. And as I was discussing with you earlier, we talked about the 10 levels of coachability. Where are you on this spectrum of coachability? So that is one. The other things that, and you need professional coaches to do that. So that is the other challenge that we are facing all over the world, that ICF is facing, that EMCC are facing, that everyone is facing, because due to the pop-ups of all of these coaching schools that are not professionally certified. That is another challenge. It doesn't mean that you have to be ICF accredited or EMCC accredited, but you have to have at least the know-how of being a professional coach. The third thing that you have is the mindset. As coaches, we say we have to have a growth mindset. If leadership that is trickling from upwards, downwards, have a fixed mindset and doesn't have a growth mindset, then you are going to be in an organization that is not thriving in coaching. And you see that still in Europe and in the Western society. So it's still there. But again, I go back to different industries that have it, because here the level of IQ versus EQ plays a very big role in terms of highly emotionally intelligent leadership will invest in coaching. But if you are working more technical, they are not going to. So this is where around 4 differences that we can look at.
You know, what's interesting is that both of you actually talked about coachability. So I think this is important. We need to just address this head on. And this is really all about awareness and understanding, you know, what state of mind should the coachee be in. So I want to ask, actually, I'm going to start this time back to you, Dr. Zeina. Or actually, actually, this is a question for Ghada, but it will be impactful to you. Yeah. So, Ghada, my question for you is, because we were talking about coachability, and of course, there are levels of coachability, and if you're interested to know more about that, you can definitely find and ask us. But I want to ask you a very simple question. Who should be coached?
Everyone. Steve Jobs said, everyone needs a coach. This is very crucial. I'm not going to talk about people who have mental issues, because I will leave this Dr. Zeina to answer this part, because it's related to wellness. But every one of us need a coach. Even us as coaches, we have a mentor, we have a supervisor. Otherwise, we cannot grow. So in organization, everyone can have access to coaching. However, okay, we always do this in the first discovery sessions. We have like a scale from 1 to 5. How can I evaluate the coachee if he's ready to be coached or not? Again, we will, because I'm an HR also a specialist, I don't want to invest money and time on someone who's not ready to be coached. So very crucial that we can have this assessment to see from 1 to 5 if he's ready or not. Okay? Because maybe he's not willing to discuss any personal things. That's why we have to build trust. And again, psychological safety is very crucial. So this is the first thing. And in organization, as I said before, everyone should be coached. Okay? But it depends on the budget, it depends on many constraints. Also, it depends on what is the priority for the organization, because coaching should be, we can say it's the strategic enabler. So we have to link it to the vision of the organization. What is the most important? To build confidence on the future leaders, or to start with the executive, or the onboarding? Because when we are talking about coaching, we are talking about changing the coaching mindset or the culture in an organization. So everybody should speak the same language. I should not say only onboarding or only the executive, because if I start with the mid or onboarding, they will speak different language than the executive. So I believe we should start with the executive and only on those who are interested in coaching, not everyone. So we can start with the pilot for those who are interested, because we need those to be our champion and to talk positively about coaching in organization. Okay?
So that's who should be coached. Now the question becomes to Dr. Zeina, this is what I had in mind, is who shouldn't be coached?
First of all, anyone that wants to be mentored, or anyone that wants to be supervised, or anyone that wants to be counseled, shouldn't be coached. Yani, what we're saying is anyone that wants us to tell them what to do. In coaching, we never, ever give advice. So that is one category. The other category are the people that are borderline therapy. So, and this is usually one of the major problems that we find here, Abdullah, is coaches are not equipped to diagnose that. And sometimes they are taking on cases that they cannot take. They would be border level depression or anxiety. I'm not talking about schizophrenia or bipolarity or severe mental illnesses. I'm talking about just mild cases. This is very important, that a coach needs to have the know-how of helping these individuals by referring to therapy. So any mentally ill person cannot go through coaching alone. They can be coached, but they have to be in therapy also. This is another whole category. And the people that are not ready to be coached. As Ghada said, there is the readiness test, but also when we see our clients for the first time, we look at them in terms of where they are on the spectrum in terms of are they ready or not, and how can we help them move one step further. So this is how it should be.
I want to thank you for that. And given our time, I'm looking at Hugh. Hugh's looking back at me. I see you. So let's kind of wrap it up. But really, I want to give you the last few seconds to kind of, because you're looking at a lot of amazing HR professionals that we've had the honor and privilege to kind of get to know in the last 2 days. What would be the biggest or most important message you want to convey when it comes to coaching to this audience? So, Ghada, I'll start with you.
Okay. I will start with emphasizing EQ, emotional intelligence. Okay, when you think about, or if you read the World Finance Forum reports, the future of core skills, it's all linked either to ICF core competencies or the emotional intelligence. For example, curiosity, active listening, all these are the core skills that we need in 2030. So in order to be prepared for 2030 with these core skills, we need to start in coaching. Lots of amazing best practice like ADNOC. When you read the best practice about coaching in the top oil and gas in GCC, you will be impressed with the changes in confidence and future. So the best thing, I think, coaching, invest in emotional intelligence. It's so crucial. I think this will help a lot. Okay.
Thank you. Dr. Zaina.
It's very simple. Get coached and get your people to be coached because the return on investment is going to be huge.
My final words for you is coaching is a journey that will help you discover yourself. It will help discover your true potential. And it takes a brave person to tackle that journey because you will have to confront yourself. You will have to face your fears, your biggest fears, your challenges, your obstacles, your blocks, all these very delicious things that actually improve and makes us who we are. So I want to thank my guests, my amazing coaches as well. Ghada, thank you so much. Dr. Zaina, thank you so much for your time. Thank you so much.
Can I just say one thing?
Yeah, go ahead.
I want to mention one thing. 2 days ago, we attended the EQ versus AI, and there was a formula for sustainable leadership. I don't know, for those who attended, maybe they will remember. If we will close with one question for you, but think about it. What could be the formula for sustainable leadership in your organization? Just think about it, but the answer was AI, EQ, and what could, anybody remember the last word? IQ, emotional intelligence, and AI. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Ghada. Thank you so much, Dictora.
Thank you.
Thank you, everyone.